Wow. So, yesterday was one hell of a night in the United States of America. Let's go into all angles of the riots and the killing of George Floyd, and you know how the police acted, how the rioters and the protesters acted, and let's dive into it. So I'm going to show a few clips that I found on Twitter of the police just completely acting out. This type of behavior is what causes people to distrust the police. This type of behavior is the behavior that we cannot stand. We can't have this behavior from officers in any precinct in this country. They acted in certain cases without provocation, completely unreasonable and violent. They're supposed to be there to protect and serve and to diffuse the situation. And there are certain clips that I'm going to show you that are the exact opposite. And this type of behavior, there are certain occupations, there are certain professions where you can't have a bad apple, where you can't have someone who messes up and makes mistakes multiple times. You can't have someone who has a handful of complaints about the way they do their job and them to remain on the force. If you get 3 complaints and you're a server at Applebee's, you're out the door. So let's go to some of these clips and then we'll come back and discuss them further.
Right now we're behind the line.
Okay.
Okay, well, you keep going and go where you gotta go, and that's fine with us. We got plenty of time here.
Are you okay?
I'm getting shot. I'm getting
Katie, are you okay?
rubber bullets. It's okay. It's those pepper bullets.
Are they? Who are they aiming that at?
Now he's shooting at the
At
photographer.
us, like directly at us. Directly
Why
at
are they
us.
doing that?
He's shooting at our crew.
I don't
Do they
know.
not know that? Obviously, they see the camera.
Right. Back to the
Yo, hey! Hey! Get his badge number! Get his badge number!
Now, those clips are just gut-wrenching. That is not how you treat other people, even in those situations. So the cop is driving by in the car and there's people in the street. You have no reason to open your car door and hit him. Zero. None. Besides the fact that you're an asshole. The other clip of the man telling the woman to get out of the way and violently pushing her to the ground. He looks like he's pushing 200 pounds. She's probably like $140, and he just throws her to the ground like that. That is not policing, okay? It's not policing. And these type of actions need to be condemned and by other police officers, because this is not how you do the job. And then the man who just randomly starts shooting rubber bullets at reporters. When we have police so brazen and so authoritarian in their veins that they are handcuffing CNN reporters in the middle of the street, and they're shooting other reporters for no damn good reason with rubber bullets, when can we stop saying, when we see stuff that goes on in Hong Kong, for instance, and China, and we're over here and we're saying, oh my God, look at this authoritarianism from China. Look at this awful, boot on the throat of citizens in Hong Kong. This is terrible. It happens here. It's happening here right now. And the last one that I think is just, it may be the worst besides the rubber bullets one, is the mace out the window. So you're just driving by and they're just standing there with signs doing no harm. They're not doing anything. They are exercising their right to protest. And you aren't going to stop and do anything. You just want to cause harm and spray mace out your window. This is not how police officers should act. They need to be held to a higher standard. They need to protect and serve. And that takes me to the actual killing of George Floyd, which now maybe it's coming out that he didn't die of asphyxiation, and he may have had some sort of underlying condition or perhaps had a heart attack during that ordeal. If that is the case, and that's actually what caused him, to die, this doesn't absolve the cops of what they did. It might make it worse, actually. It might make it worse that the man is pleading for his life, telling you he can't breathe, and it doesn't even cross your mind as a human being. Forget being a cop, just as a human being, it doesn't even cross your mind to think for 1 second, damn, maybe this guy needs some help. Maybe I need to go from police to a healthcare provider right now. Maybe I need to go get the paramedic, go get the EMT. Maybe he really is having some sort of episode that is going to lead to his death. But no, you keep your knee on the back of his neck and show a complete lack of humanity. Monstrous. This doesn't help their case. It may make it worse. And if he does have underlying conditions that caused him to potentially have a heart attack or not be able to breathe, listen, he was still living, going day to day, alive, just fine with those underlying conditions. The situation that he was put in, with a knee on the back of his neck, caused him to die. It's the straw that broke the camel's back. Yes, he has underlying conditions. But if he wasn't in that position, he'd still be alive. And even if he was in that position, if the cop had some humanity, he maybe would have got off of him and got the EMT or the paramedic on scene to see if there's a problem with George. He's already handcuffed. He's already subdued. The next step is protecting his life while he's in your custody. And then this takes me to the rioters and, the looters and the stealing. This is just so counterproductive. Obviously, there were people out there committing crimes, and the police, when a crime is committed, the police obviously are well within their right to stop that crime, and they should stop that crime. And if they have to use certain levels of force to stop it, they should. And the fact that people are out here rioting and looting and burning things, this doesn't help, okay? I know there are probably a lot of rioters and looters who are from out of town, and they just come there. They're anarchists, they're rabble-rousers, they're criminals, and they want to cause violence. They want to cause destruction. That's who they are. I get that. But there are also people who are out there who are upset about George Floyd and policing and all that, and I get it. And they're out there rioting and looting too. This is not how you fix this problem. It's not. You know what? Rioting and looting, it's easy. It's cowardly. It's 1 or 2 nights. It's gone. It's over with. It doesn't take that much effort. You know what takes effort? Being a better person day to day. Holding those around you in your community accountable. Making sure that they become better people. Lifting each other up. Forming a coalition with like-minded people. And having tough discussions with political leaders so that you can force them into making the changes that you want to see. Voting. Voting for the right politicians who have your best interest at heart. How many of these rioters and looters are going to vote in November? That's what I want to see. Because a lot of them are younger, obviously, right? They're younger people. You're not going to be out there, breaking windows if you're not at least a younger age. And we all know a lot of young people don't vote. So if you're out there in the streets and you're stealing and you're breaking things and you want to see change and you don't vote and you don't take the time to educate yourself on the issues, you don't take your time to have tough discussions with other people and educate them on the issues, then you're doing it wrong. And no one's going to take you seriously. You're just a criminal at that point. The hard work is day to day, being better, uplifting people in your community, changing minds, organizing and mobilizing together, and voting for the right people in office. That's the tough work. That's hard to do. But it's what needs to be done.